how would you assess where we are in this phase of the Iran-US-Israel conflict?
Well, I would say deadlock, although on the surface of it, both sides are hitting each other. But at the same time, they really are in a deadlock war, a war that I don't believe will end any soon for any one of them as victors. So it's going to be a tough days ahead, although I know that the U.S. side is trying to find every opportunity to end it because they already have recognized that they may have made a big mistake.
Why do you think this is going to go on longer than President Trump is promising?
Well, because on the one hand, President promises this to be a short-term war, and then at the same time, he's sending thousands of soldiers and other military assets to the region and thinking of taking over a few Iranian islands. And if that is the plan, then you are talking about a real long term. But my hope is, of course, that he is right in saying that it is short term, meaning that the U.S. will gradually pull out as opposed to sending in troops. Again, it's a very contradictory behavior we see from President Trump. In the one hand, he says, I have won the war, this is going to finish, but at the same time, he has to send thousands of more military personnel and equipment. I believe President Trump is trying to balance between the war and the market. The market doesn't like this war, but the warmongers obviously are pushing for it. So there is a real struggle in this country between the market and the warmongers.
Let's talk about Iran. Iran has continued attacks across Israel and Gulf countries. What is Tehran trying to achieve militarily and politically?
I believe Tehran's strategy is what we call deterrence. Tehran knows that by sending missiles to Saudis, to Emirates, or to Israel even, it cannot end the war, it cannot win the war, it cannot damage these countries in a significant way. But at the same time, this has been actually, from their perspective, a good deterrence. That is to say, this hits to the Arab countries or closing the Strait of Hormuz has put tremendous pressure on the United States and President Trump to find a solution. Also, pressure on the Arab world, and the Arab world are pressuring the United States because they are sitting out there, really don't know what to do. They were expecting to be defended by the U.S., and obviously, U.S. is not in a position to defend them to the extent that they wanted. And at the same time, the Arabs don't want to get into this war. They are thinking of the long term. Iran is a huge country, it's a different country. So again, Iran's strategy by attacking nations in the region is a deterrence strategy. It is trying to make U.S. end the war.
Can we know what's going on inside Iran? I mean, do you have knowledge of any domestic pressure within Iran?
Well, obviously, Iranian people are not for war. They didn't start the war. They are defending. This war from the U.S. side is both illegal and aggressive. So Iranians would love to see this war end, but at the same time, their military people are defending They are a defensive force as opposed to offensive, at least for the time being. And therefore, pressure from the Iranian side on the military to stop the war doesn't exist. At the same time, Israelis and Americans eliminated the top generals and leaders in Tehran, and de facto, the people at the lower level, middle level, are in charge, and I call them the colonels as opposed to generals. Okay, and these people are obviously more patriotic than those at the very top that were eliminated. I think the biggest mistake of this war from Mr. Trump and Netanyahu's side was to kill Khamenei. Mr. Khamenei was a controlling force. It was a break on the revolutionaries and on the military. And that break has been taken off, and these people are now free, they are liberated, and they are doing what they think should be done in the field. And the Iranian military, particularly the Revolutionary Guard, is very much a decentralized force. We have 31 provinces in Iran, and there are 31 Revolutionary Guard structure, IRGC structure in the country, and each of them are now doing their own. Each of them are the king of the castle that they control.